now in a new week, the week of Parashat BeHukotai. In outside Israel, it's Behar and BeHukotai, and it is a very powerful parasha because especially it's the last one of the book of Vayikra of Leviticus. And the last one basically is called in Hebrew, that the last one is called Siyum. Siyum, I think maybe the English word sum, to sum it up, that's coming from the word Siyum. To sum it up is to finish it, but also to sum it up. It's summing it up, the whole book of Leviticus. Usually the last parasha of every book is like the conclusion, the summing, the whole sum that gathers all the energy of the whole 10 weeks. And what did we say 10 weeks ago? When it was the first week of Nisan and we read Vayikra, we said that we're going into a journey of learning how to cleanse ourselves. It was 10 weeks of really intense, hard work on cleansing ourselves. Why do we need to cleanse? So what if we're not that clean? So what happens? Oh, this is very important to know, because we said that the whole thing about the cleansing is about the ability to communicate with what we really want to have in life. So, because as we said, Genesis, we learned how to walk in our lives. That was like basic training, basic coaching. Exodus was getting out of slavery. And now Leviticus was, now you're free. You're in charge. You're in charge of your own communication, and what you get is only yours. You should take responsibility for that. What does that mean? So let's start to read, and we'll see that in the words of the parasha. Parashat BeHukotai, which is on chapter 26, verse 3 of Leviticus, Vayikra, and it says as follows: if im BeHukotai telechu, ואת מצוותיי תשמרו, ועשיתם אותם. Okay? And now how do you translate it? Impossible. Why? There's no English words for that. Because if you say, you start, im BeHukotai telechu, if you go, you walk. Telechu comes from the word lalechet, to walk, walking. Telechu, if you walk in my laws, ואת מצוותיי תשמרו, and you observe my mitzvot, just a second, my mitzvot, and you do them, ועשיתם אותם. And then Rashi, like in last week's parasha, is doing something very similar. He's asking a question, and he doesn't give an answer. He makes us think. Okay? And Rashi says, Im BeHukotai telechu, you would think that's observing the mitzvot, right? The precepts. If you walk in my rules, that means observing the mitzvot. But then comes the word ubemitzvotai, vet mitzvotai tishmor, and you observe my mitzvot. So chukot and mitzvot are not the same thing. They're two different things. So Rashi is asking, so what's the difference? What is chukah and what is mitzvot, and what's the difference between the two? A lot of people think that this is exactly the same thing. And another question, vet mitzvotai tishmeru, when you observe my mitzvot, v'asitem otam, and you do them. Why do you need two verbs? Isn't observing the mitzvot and doing them the same thing? If the Torah needs two words, it's not the same thing. So we have no idea what we're talking about. So the Or Chaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, he writes about 3 pages about it. We don't have time to read the whole 3 pages, a lot about it, but he's also trying to bring us to understand what's the difference between mitzvot and chukot. So we'll leave it right now as an open question. And why is it important? Because the Torah continues. If you do that, then chapter 26, verse 4, Venatati gishmechem beitam, and I'll give your rains at their time. And, Rashi says, at that time, Friday night, nobody's out on the road on Friday night, so it's the time for rain. Who cares? Let it rain. I'm home, right? Is that what it means? So some say it's like even more than that. Venatati gishmechem ve'ita gishmechem, rain. Okay, geshem means in Hebrew also lehagshim, to fulfill somebody's wish. Okay, so venatati gishmechem beitam, that means your wishes will be fulfilled beitam, when it's the right time. Because sometimes it's really horrible. You pray for something, you ask for something, you get it 2 months before the time. You waste it, you put it aside. 2 months later, now I needed it. Why not now? I had no idea I had to keep it, right? Or you get it a week later. If I just had it a week ago, my life would be so different. What can I do with that right now? It's too late. Getting your wish fulfilled, timing is so important, right? Timing. So having a blessing is not just getting what you wish, but getting it in the right time. Okay? And the earth will giving you its crops. It's a sedate and piyo, and the tree of the field will give you its fruit. It's going to be all great and peace, and going to be peace. And I will give peace in the land, and nobody bothers you, and no terrible animals, and you chase your enemies, they just run away, they just get scared from anything you do. Everything will be so beautiful. Why? When? If you walk in my laws and you do and observe my mitzvot. Okay? So we said, but if, and then we continue. And then it says, verse 14, if you don't listen to me, you don't do all of these mitzvot, and you just despise my laws, and my ordinances you will reject, and you will break the covenant. I'll do that to you the same. And then comes a list of terrible curses, what is called the curses of Torat Kohanim of the book of Leviticus. Okay, however, just to make sure, after all of these curses, that one of them is you're going to go to exile, far, far away lands. Okay? And the land is going to become really deserted. And you'll be spread among the nations. Okay? And the ones who will be survive it, they'll be afraid from a falling leaf. Okay? And rotten in the lands of your exile. And finally, you will confess for all what you did wrong. Okay? Vezacharti, and then comes verse 42, Vezacharti et briti Yaakov. And I remember my covenant, Jacob. However, like the other problems we have, you can't translate it into English because Jacob is written in the Torah as Yud Ein Kuf Bet. Here it's written Yud Ein Kuf Vav Bet. There is an additional Vav. Okay? And as the Zohar speaking about that, and about all the secrets of the end of Mashiach, that is going, the Messiah times that is coming, and it says that the secret of that Vav is the secret of the coming of Mashiach. While it says, the Zohar says, Vav, when you say, how many Vavs do you hear? 2. The way you write Vav is Vav Vav, the name of the word, or the name of the letter. And the Zohar says, you can leave the exile and be redeemed if you do tshuva. But if you don't, you'll have to get out of the exile when it's time. And when it's time, so the Zohar says Vav means 6, but it's 2 Vavs, so 2 6. It says the 6th millennium and on the 6th century. That was on the Jewish calendar. If you know that Hebrew calendar, we are counting right now, this year, 2018, we're counting 5778. So 5500, which means the 6th century of the 6th millennium, this is 5500, and this is 1740. The year 1740, okay? CE. What happened on 1740? 1740, the Zohar says, the flood of knowledge will start coming down to earth. 1740, we're talking about the Industrial Revolution. It said, from now on, everything is going to be massive, mass production. That means that this is the age of knowledge. From 1740, when we're starting to print books industrially, and then exactly 250 years later, which is 5750, internet. Now the information is like flooded. That's going to be like the flood, says the Zohar. Like water covered the earth. Isaiah, and nobody will have to teach each other because everybody knows that's Jeremiah. Okay? All of it is going to flood the age of information and knowledge. Why? Because you guys have to get out. And part of the getting out is the knowledge and the wisdom flooding the earth. First, in ancient times, how much was a book? Fortune. People could hardly provide bread to their family. Buying a book, it's a whole year work. Now, you download the book into your phone, and you read it, right? You don't have to go and look for the book. Old times, you had to go till you found the book, and no, they don't have it. It's out of print. We have to order from another. Remember that? Whoever is old enough to remember that. Today, you know what does that mean? After 120, you go up to heaven. You have no excuses anymore. A few hundred years ago, I had to provide for my family. I had to feed them some bread and some. How long does it take you to earn enough to feed your family? Not too much. What do you do for the rest of the day? Huh? Oh, we have to spend money on this and on this. I have to, change my wardrobe every year, every season. I have to buy a new set of this, a new set of that. Expenses. Do you really need that? Do you really need that? And what do you do with the rest of the time? Now you have no excuses. I couldn't get this because it was not available. Everything is available. There's a flood of books about everything, about spirituality, about Kabbalah. No excuses. What are you going to say now? You're going to heavenly court and you say, what are you going to say now? At any time? What did you do with the time? You walked 10 minutes to get the bread, the butter, another half a minute. Okay? What about the rest? Some cheese, maybe chicken, an hour a day. What's the rest of the day walking? What? No, I have to buy a bigger house, a bigger car, more fancy stuff. But what? You're not here for that. You don't take it to the grave. When was the last time you saw in cemetery they allow you to be buried with a Mercedes? Huh? Not in the Jewish cemetery. Forget it. You can't even get buried with your socks. So, this is the age that the light is coming down and pushing, and you have to change. That's why, people think, why things are moving so fast? Because you have to change. Shabbat is soon. But just like it's almost Shabbat, you have to prepare. Everybody's stressed out, running for what? No, we have to do this. No, you're running because Shabbat is coming soon, and you have to get ready. And you're not preparing for Shabbat. It doesn't look like. All of this let's go back now to the answer. What does it mean BeHukotai telechu? Now, we just spoke about it for the last few weeks. Whoever listened for the last few weeks knows what I'm talking about. We said something very clear. Very clear. We said that the whole book of Leviticus is teaching us that there are two systems in this world. When the world has been created, it was created perfect. The problem is we were created perfect. What's the problem? When you're perfect, you can't stand the idea that you are in need and you're dependent on anyone. So we couldn't bear the idea. Kind of. The result is we wanted to shine. We wanted to shine. You can't shine in the endless. So this arena, this game was created, planet Earth, and we can play creators. We have to look for dark places, and we have to make them light. We have to turn the darkness into light, and the bitterness into sweet. And then we feel like creators. How do you do that? So we said, in the beginning, after the Tzimtzum, after the light went away from the vessel, we wanted everything, and the result was a disaster. Why? Because similarities attract. The endless light is endless light. And when you want to receive for yourself alone, you're limited in your light, in your giving. No communication. Judgment. Destruction. Okay? So the Creator had to create another system. System 2. System 2 is sweetening of the judgment, which means a new vessel that has built inside it the desire to share. So that's called the system of the Kedusha, the holy, WH, a wholeness. Whenever you receive, you have to give. Why? That's how it works. Right? You want to have your light bulb fixed, you want it to work, you need to have a plus and you need to have a minus. And you need to have a filament that has a resistor inside. Right? Otherwise, it doesn't work. Why? That's how it works. That's how this universe works. You want to see the light? You can look at the sun. You can look at the light bulb. Why? Your retina will get burned. So what do you see? You see only the light that returns from objects. To teach you that in this universe, you can enjoy only for what is called returning light. The impure system, the system that means I want, therefore I receive. That's the impure system. Why? Because every time you draw that light this way, you have a high and blow and buy. Right? Like a short circuit in a light bulb. This system is existing side by side. Why? You need to have free will. Two, side by side with the Kedusha system. Kedusha means wholeness. Okay? Holiness. Now, if you want to understand what does it mean free will, which means that the free will is although you want it all for yourself, doesn't matter. Money, attention, food, whatever you just want it. You have to use that also for others too, and that's called returning light, because the light you really intended to take for yourself, you made sure that others get it too. Why do you have to do that? Because you want to live. Very simple. This is in BeHukotai telechu. If you walk according to the laws of this universe, that's how it works. The same way you should complain, why is it when I jump from a high rise, I fall down? You know why? Because it's gravity. Why God cannot save me? No, God can save you. He won't. You jump from a high rise, there's gravity. Why God cannot change the law? No, you should know that what punished you is your stupidity or carelessness and not God. Same thing, you put your finger in the socket, you get electrocuted. Why? Is God punishment? No. It's the lack of your ability to go and walk by the laws of this universe. So we learn that there are laws to this universe, and you have to fit in with these laws in order to survive. Correct? Everybody understands that. So one of the greatest laws is also the law of Returning light. You want to receive something only if you return the light that you desire. What does it mean? You can't just have it for yourself. You have to overcome your desire, immediate desire to take it all for yourself and reflect it. Like, can you look at the sun without getting a damage to your retina? No. Also light bulbs that know the sun, but it's how do you enjoy light? You look at light returning from objects, right? The light returning from the moon, returning from the atmosphere. That's a blue light that we see when the skies are blue, right? That's returning light to show you these are the laws of holiness. There's impurity and holiness. Impurity is when you want just for yourself alone, and holiness is when you always see the big picture. You can't just take it for yourself. Okay? When you connect to the grid of the holiness, things flow. And when they flow, then things go well. Everything goes the way you want it. When you pray, you want something, you get it when you need it. And you know what? You have the patience because when you're holy, you connected. You know, I asked for it, it didn't come. So either it didn't have to come, or it's not the time. You know what? Time will show you that either it doesn't come, you realize, thank God I didn't receive it, or now it's the time, now I got it. This is when you're connected to the grid of the system of Kedusha, of holiness. And that's in BeHukotai telechu. You simply understand there are different laws in this universe, and you have to live by these laws, because when you fit into the grid, you have flow. That's called Kedusha, flow. And the whole book of Vayikra, that's what we learned. Okay? So what if Veit mitzvotai tishmeru? V'asitem otam. So what's the difference about the mitzvot? Oh, comes Rav Ashlag and explains to us. We know that we are born with the evil inclination. We all know the evil inclination incites us all the time to take it for ourselves and not to give to anyone anything. For a person to develop a real altruistic nature, this is tough. It's like raising ourselves so much above our nature. It's not easy. Where am I going to take the power from in order to do that? Love others as you love yourself. Right? What does it say then? I'm God. What's the connection? Apples and oranges. No. You want to operate it as a mitzvah. Mitzvah does not mean a good deed. Mitzvah comes from the word letzavet, to team. You're teaming the upper world, the spiritual world, with the physical world. You're doing an action that is basically creating an opportunity to draw God's light in, because only that light can lift you to a place in which you can really become altruistic. Why? A lot of people, they look like they're altruistic, and then you realize there was an interest. They help you. You know, how many times people are nice to you, say like, how much would that cost me? Right? There's agenda. Nobody gives for free. So Rav Ashlag is saying, when you do the mitzvah of V'ahavta Kamocha in the right way, you just care for other people, because that is your way to connect to the light of the Creator. So when you do it right, you do not do it what is called with strings attached. Why? Because you don't expect the other person to reciprocate with you. Sometimes they'll say thank you, sometimes they won't say thank you. Sometimes they will recognize it and help you in return, and sometimes they don't. But that's not what you did. If they do it, nice for them, nice for me. But I didn't do it for them to say thank you or for them to help me. So why did I do it? I did it because that's the way to connect to the light of God. Because that's what a mitzvah is about. Says Rav Ashlag, nobody can do things without fuel. Fuel is the energy of, I need to have a reason why am I doing it. So Rav Ashlag is saying, when you love people, because you want them to love you back, 90% of the time, either they don't love you back, or when they love you back, it's not the way you want it, right? So you are going into business that is failing from the beginning, right? You are bankrupt before you started to launch your business. You don't do that this way. You don't do it this way. You're stupid if you do it this way. You know, how many people do you know that are aggravated all the time because people did not appreciate what you've done to them? Huh? That's a lot of people. It looks like that their life goal to prove it that people are not thankful. You know what? I'm giving you a secret. They are and they will be always. Okay? Now you got it? Now, okay, go on for it. So what should I do? Go back to Leviticus 19, verse 18. Love others as you love yourself because I am God. When you do love others, you do it as a mitzvah, not as a moral value. You do it because this is the way, when I'm pushing the light to that person, I'm drawing the light from above to me. So I'm doing it in order to connect to the source of all forces. Why? Because that light is going to help me to raise myself above selfishness, above whatever ailment I have. So my rabbi used to say, because I'm the most egoistic person I ever met, and I really want my life to go great, I care for people as much as I can 24/7 because I have no other choice. What can I do? You want your life to be okay? You want your life to be successful? You want to be on the grid? You have to love other people. Do they deserve it? That's not the issue. Nobody asked me. Did anyone appoint you to be the accountant of the Creator? No. Did you get the appointment, kind of a letter? No. So don't do any accounting. No, I gave them this and they gave me back. They didn't say thank you. That's none of your business. You were not appointed to be anybody's accountant. You were appointed to do only one thing, to share with other people unconditionally, because that is how you tap into the grid of Kedusha. And when you go on the grid, you can get so much more than another person can give you. Why do you want people to give it to you when you can get it right off the real grid? Do you understand? When you understand the laws, then you don't, loving others, not loving others, you have no choice. You love others. Why? You want to live. By the way, hating is so uncomfortable. It's horrible. Why? You don't have to die to go to hell. You're already in hell. Right? You're already roasting in a simmering pot of whatever stinking stuff you are. Why hating somebody? Are you stupid? Hating is like, do you want to hate? Do you want to love? What feels more fun? Loving. Okay, so love. Yeah, but it's not easy. Who said it's easy? Yeah, but you have no other choice. So work about it. Make the effort. Every human being, that's very weird I'm saying it. We have to remember. Every human being has this thing. It's called the forehead. This is the outside of your inner screen. There's a movie showing on your inner theater. Who is responsible for the movie? Huh? We are. So, you don't like the movie? Change it to another movie. Yeah, but I live in illusions. Anyway, you live in illusion, right? You have to think the whole day. At least think good thoughts. You have to tell a story. Everybody lives in a story. At least make it a good story, right? All of these people that changed the world because they had a dream about changing the world. A, they enjoyed having the dream. Instead of having a dream, complaining, I get even with them. Stupid. That's good for kids. You want to be grown up? You want to be a grown up? So take responsibility for your story. Make it a good movie. You know what? When somebody has a good movie, everybody wants, it looks, it shines, it projects from them. Everybody wants to join with them. But it looks like this guy is in a great movie. Let's come and join with him. Right? When you see a person has a bad movie, who wants to be? Calls you, can I come up for dinner? No, we're busy. We're just going out. You know what? We already get out. Why? We don't want to hear you. He's always complaining about the same thing. We know the movie. And we fed up with his movie. Who wants to be miserable? Okay? When somebody has a great, exciting movie, you know what? People love it. Why? Because they want the same movie too. So you know what? Be the producer of your own movie. Be the director, write the script, everything by yourself. And if you make a beautiful movie, you know what happens? Your heart follows the movie. If you show a funny movie, your heart feels happy. And then you feel laughing. If your brain is showing like a movie full of inspiration, then your heart feels inspired. If you have a movie, a love story, then your heart feels love. So what if that guy didn't? I follow my movie. So people say you're not normal. Well, you want to be normal? Most people are sick. Why do you want to be normal? Normal people are sick. You didn't read the news that every year more people need painkillers because their movie is so painful. They need painkillers. What, you want to be with them? That's normal. You want to feed the drug company? And to be a slave for that and take more drugs and more drugs and more drugs till it kills you? Not before you suffer so much and you give them in inheritance all your assets? Well, that's what you want. Are you stupid? That's why it says in BeHukotai telechu, walk in my laws. There are universal laws. We learned the whole book of Leviticus. And yes, it's tough to get out of being selfish. So pull the line in. How? When I love somebody unconditionally and they don't deserve it, I deserve it. I deserve it. Why? Because I'm working so hard to love them and to be nice to them. I deserve to feel love. Isn't that? And feeling love, it's healing. I have to tell you, it's healing, makes you smarter, right? You draw different kind of people to your life. And it says, research is showing these kind of people that are optimistic and positive. They're more lucky. They live longer. They get less sick. If they get sick, they get much faster out of it. Why do you want to go against the rules of the universe? Why? Why? Now it's science. It's not a belief system. It's a science. It is a science. It's not just in this book in the Torah. It's in thousands and thousands of scientific research that was published already and billions of dollars invested in it. Why you have to argue with it? Yeah, but he's wrong. So he's wrong. You know what? When they see you happy, you know what they say? You can't win them, join them. They, after a while, how many times, people were just trying to hurt me and say, you'll be happy. After a while, you know what? Can we join you? Why not? It looks fun to be around, what is that you're thinking that makes you feel so much fun? Because this is what it is about. You have to be the director, the script writer, the copyright, everything, and the producer of your own movie. And you know what? When you do that, your heart follows. And after your heart comes the metabolism, the blood pressure, the cholesterol, everything goes with it. And what if they don't say thank you? Maybe they have a toothache. Maybe they have I don't know. They have a problem. If they have a problem, I need to have my problem. That problem is my problem. Nobody forces you to make it your problem. Maybe they need some help. Probably they need some help. And you know what? So if they don't say thank you, and they don't appreciate, and you smile to them, and you like them, it's not easy. I'm not saying that this is easy. But, you want the light of the Creator. Who said it's going to be easy? You didn't hear about no pain, no gain? Didn't hear about it? Didn't hear about no free lunches? Did you hear about no pressure, no diamonds? Did you hear about it? That's how it is. Okay, why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? Yeah, it's easy to love everybody when everybody loves you. No challenge. What did you create over here? It's like, what do you get out of it? Yes, it's easy. But you know what? It's not. So you don't have it. Okay, you don't have it. Maybe one day. Meanwhile, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? To be aggravated the whole day? You have to give it up. Why? In BeHukotai telechu, you're going to be punished. Why are you going to be punished? It's not that God is going to punish you. God is not this old man over there, like sitting there and waiting to smite you because he's going to catch you making the mistake. He just gave you the rules. We said more than a calf wants to milk his mother cow wants to feed it. She can't run after him. She's not a Jewish mother. She can't stick it into his, shove it down his throat. She's a cow. God is not, he's like more like a cow, not like a Jewish mother or Italian mother. Can't force it to her. No coercion in spirituality. You cannot force somebody to be happy. You can bring him to the water, you can't force them to drink. Okay? So when it says, Veit mitzvotai tishmeru, and when you observe my mitzvot ve'asitem otam, and you act on them, why two verbs? Because when you do the action, it's not enough. You have also to observe. The word observe is kind of artificial. What can I do? English is not made for that. The word tishmeru means to guard. It's a common word in modern Hebrew, as ancient. Every kid in kindergarten knows what does it mean, lishmor, right? It's not a special word, right? Kids learn Torah already when they're really young. Why? It's their language in Hebrew. I'm talking in Israel. It's their language. It's not, you try to teach kids in grade 1, let's say in England, you try to teach them Shakespeare. They won't understand it. He doesn't speak their language, right? But Israeli kids in the same age can study Torah. Yes, it was written a little bit before Shakespeare. Shakespeare was how long ago? 300 years ago? The Torah was just 34 centuries ago. You can still read it. You go to the shrine of the book in Jerusalem, and you have the Dead Sea Scrolls. A kid's grade 1, he can read it. It was written 2,200 years ago. He can read it. It's the same language. He can read the letters, he can read the words, he can understand it. Okay? Lishmo means to guard. Right? Shomer means a guard. And we know that a guard has in Hebrew, it means also to watch. Because the moment you sleep, you slept on your duty, right? You're not a guard anymore. Which means being a guard means you need to be on the watch. Your consciousness have to be awake and focused. That's why it says lishmo velasot. When you do a mitzvah, it's not enough to do it. You have to be watchful, mindful, and aware. Why? Because the light of God is not coming in without inviting it in. You have to bring it in. Okay, how do we know? The Zohar says so. Okay? Now, in the ancient times, everybody knew that. You didn't have to teach them. You were born knowing that because everybody did it. The problem was the Dark Ages came. And what happened in Dark Ages? Whoever was doing some little thing of magic was burned at the stake, right? So you have to say the Torah is just logic. You do this, you do because God says so. But then Rabbi Shimon wrote the Zohar because he said when the time is over of the Dark Ages, people will forget what the whole thing is about. They just do without the watchfulness, without the awareness. And then everything will become so empty. Because if you don't invite it in, it would not come. Now you can understand the Zohar about Parashat BeHukotai. So, in BeHukotai telechu, רבי חייא פתח, רבי חייא opened. עמי זכור נא מה יעץ בלק מלך מואב ומענה אותו בלעם בן באור. He's bringing from the word, the book of Micha, chapter 6, mentioning God saying, my people remember the story of Balak and Bilam. And the Zohar goes into explaining that. And what does he say? First of all, the Zohar says they wanted to destroy you guys through witchcraft. Okay? And what does it mean, witchcraft? By the way, I'm reading verse 5 in the Zohar. Balak Chachamaya. Balak was very wise. V'gdol ha'mechashvim haya b'maaseh yadav. He was the greatest warlock in witchcraft that you do with your hands. Okay? יותר מבלעם, more than בלעם. וכך למדתי, I learned so. כל מה שרוצה האדם בעולם הזה בעבודת הקדוש ברוך הוא. Why am I mentioning it? Says the Rabbi Yehuda. Because when we hear about Balak and Bilam, we hear the two details about when Balaam wants to curse the Israelites. He tells Balak how to bring the offerings and exactly what to do. Making circles with dead animals, all of this stuff. Sounds like witchcraft, because it was witchcraft. The whole ancient world was obsessed with witchcraft, right? Egypt was, what was Exodus about? The book of Exodus. It's about a fight between warlocks, right? It was a warlock fight, okay? Much darker and stronger than the Lord of the Rings, okay? There's nothing in Egypt that is not imbued with witchcraft, right? You shouldn't have anything of that objects in your house, okay? You don't want that. וכך למדתי, כל מה שרוצה אדם בעולם הזה בעבודת הקדוש ברוך הוא. So we learn, says רבי יצחק. רבי יצחק, רבי יהודה. כן, רבי יהודה. Whatever wants to do that, we learn from the witchcraft work of Balaam and Balak that the same way there's the impure system, the dark system, there's also the system of Kedusha. And inside the system of Kedusha, you have to do similarly, but on the other side. You want to draw the light of God in, you have to do actions. Okay? You have to do a physical action in this world, physical world below. ומעשה זה שלמטה, this action below, צריך להיות בקדושה. It has to be done with holiness. You have to do it with the right holiness consciousness. You have to put the thought in it, and the awareness, and the mindfulness, with action and with speech. Why? We learn it from the stories in the Torah that that's how you do in the dark side. And it says that God created both systems, one parallel to the other, so we have free will. You can choose using this grid or the other grid. ואף על פי שבלעם היה מכשף הגדול מכל מכשפי העולם, although Bilam was the greatest warlock of them all, and Balak was a greater warlock than Bilam. However, Balak was very wise in doing witchcraft actions. Bilam was in sorcery with his mouth, was much greater. So Balak said, you know what? Let's both of us get together. We'll be so powerful. We'll smite them. Okay? So we learn that in order to do, so what is a mitzvah? A mitzvah is an action that with observance, watchfulness, mindfulness, and awareness, you have to imagine that you draw spiritual positive light from above. If you don't really want it, it would not come in. Give you an example. Rabbi Zakariah says very clearly in the gates of mitzvot, the gate of mitzvot, of his with the system of all the mitzvot, he says, if you do not imagine with your imagination, and not focusing with your awareness to draw the spiritual metaphysical light from above, as you do every mitzvah, it's not coming down. It's empty. It's like you didn't plug it in. You know, you buy this electric device, you bring it home, you try to operate it, you call one and 1-800 number. It doesn't work. What do they ask you the first question? Did you plug it in? No awareness, you didn't plug it in. No wonder it doesn't work for you. How many people were religious and they stopped being because they didn't get anything out of it, because nobody taught them how to connect to the light force of God. And if you don't get that light, you have no power to overcome your ailments. First of all, how can I love somebody? Oh, you need to get light from above. You have to connect to the Creator and draw the light in. Otherwise, you won't have the ability to do that. You need extra power. Says there, you know what? Friday night, Kabbalat Shabbat. Okay? You can receive the extra neshama, the extra soul of Shabbat. Women get it when they light the Shabbat candles. But they have to want it. They have to desire it. Otherwise, they just lit the candle. They have to desire it. They have to focus on it. And then it's a magical action. Every atom in the house is transforming when the candles of Shabbat are being lit. Right? The men, they have to go into Kabbalat Shabbat. And then, when you do Lecha Dodi, in the last sentence, Boi Kala, come the bride, Boi Shabbat HaMalka, then you have to ask for the extra nefesh of Shabbat. And the Ari says, if you don't ask, you don't get it. You have to want it. You have to desire it. Then the Ruach, which is the next level, you get when there's Baruch Hu, the beginning of Tfilat Arvit. You have to want it. You don't want it, you don't get it. Then with force Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha, when please God bring us the Sukkah of your peace, you have to ask now for the Neshama. To get Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. That's for men. Women get it all by lighting the candles. You don't want it, you don't get it. That means to observe. That means lishmor. That means to be watchful, mindful, and willing, and connected. Because this is all magic. We were created as magical creatures. Without magic, we are dead. Why do you think, it's the year 2018. Science is everywhere. Science is crazy with its abilities, right? And people go like crazy to movies about fantasy, about supernatural, about all that stuff of magic. Fantasy movies, superhumans. There's nothing logic in there because people yearn for the magic and they can't find it. And they don't know how to do it. Why Harry Potter was so popular? Because it reminded people, that's the person I want to become. So on one hand, there's no witchcraft, dark magic, which is terrible in most countries in the world already. But what about the positive magic? The magic of drawing spirituality, drawing positive energy to everything you do. And this is, so, verse 7. V'Yisrael yakdushim enam ken, ela kulam kedoshim. The Israelites supposed to be holy. V'chol ma'aseim em la'orer aleim ruach kadosh. Everything they do is in order to awaken and to draw a Holy Spirit in their actions. Kfi she'amar, as it says, Isaiah 32, Ya'areh aleinu ruach mimaron. To draw above us a spirit, the Holy Spirit from above. We don't do it because, in a lot of Jewish Hebrew schools, yeshiva, they tell you have to do it. Why? Because God said so. They don't teach you it's magic. If your mind is not watching that, it's not trained for that, so you just do it. What does it mean when you don't really connect to the magic? It's like you have the most expensive TV, large screen. You have the best machinery in your kitchen. You have all what modern devices could offer. And you didn't plug even one of them. You're sitting in the dark. It's cold in the winter. It's hot in the summer. You have to wash your dishes with cold water and only with soap. You can't use the dishwasher because it doesn't work. And you have the best, the best. The Creator gave us everything, but you have to plug in. You have to want it. You have to train yourself to insert the magic into whatever you do. Whatever you do with your hands, either it's your job, either it's your family, housework, whatever, you are supposed to create that magic in. And that's why when you do that, it's called a mitzvah. From the word to team, tzevet, because you're teaming the upper world and the lower world. And you have the ability to do it because humans have that ability. If you not apply that, you'll always feel that something is missing. Why is it? I have all this stuff and I don't enjoy it. Yes, you have all that stuff and you never plugged yourself in to the holy system, which means to draw it down from the upper worlds and to share it with others to create a wholeness, a holy system. This is my calling. This is your calling. This is our calling. This is the calling of humanity. And as long as we don't do that, we'll always feel that something is missing. So have a great week. Enjoy the end of Leviticus and get all of this content in order to become the magical creature you're created to be. Thank you so much. Shavua Tov.
And your phone survived?